Alright, so the first question here is asking us to construct a table of values for the equation y equals negative 2x plus 3, and it's indicating which x values to use. So it's telling us that the x values have to be, between negative 3 and 3. Okay, so that means that when we set up our table of values, our x and y, we are going to use x values between negative 3 and positive 3. So to find the y values, we're simply going to substitute the x values into our equation and solve for y. So our equation that was given to us is negative 2x plus 3. So you should be able to see straight away that our y-intercept, or when x is 0, y is 3. So I'm going to pop that one in there straight away. So using this equation now, I'm going to solve for a couple others. So I'm going to solve for x of negative 1 and x of 1, because you're going to see that there's a pattern developing and we won't have to solve for all of them. So if we're going to do our negative 1 first, so in place of x, I'll put negative 1 plus 3, so y, negative 2 times negative 1 is 2 plus 3, so y in this case is 5. Using my same equation, negative 2x plus 3, I'm going to solve for when y is 1 now. So I'm going to put 1 in place of x. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 3. Y is 1. Oops. Now, blue. Now hopefully you can see that there is a pattern forming, but just to be really clear, I'm going to give one more point. So I'm going to look at negative 2 so you can really see the clear pattern here. So my equation, as always, negative 2x plus 3. In this case, I'm working with an x value of negative 2. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, so plus 3. So y in this case is 7. So as you can hopefully see here, our y values are simply decreasing by 2, which makes sense because that is our gradient. So this will be 9, this will be negative 1, and this will be negative 3. Okay, so that's how we're going to do that first one, if we had to do it by hand. Next up, solving these equations. So the first equation here, or solve this equation, so we've got negative 3 outside of y plus 2 equals 12. So again, we're solving the equation for y, so we want to get y all by itself. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this negative 3 that is multiplied through by dividing everything by negative 3. So on the left hand side will remain our y plus 2, and on the right hand side we've got 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Now to get y by itself, we're simply going to take this 2 from both sides to get an answer of y equals negative 6. So you can always double check your answer by substituting it back in. So if we came over to our original equation and I put 6 in place of my y, well, negative 3 outside of 6 plus 2 is 8, which I've clearly made a mistake here because this was supposed to be negative 6. Let me rewrite that one for you. So negative 3 outside of negative 6 plus 2, which negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. And we know that negative 3 times negative 4 is in fact 12. So 12 does equal 12, so we did get it right. Next up, we're asked to rearrange the equation to make y the subject. So I just might just split this here. Just move over slightly. So our equation is 4x plus 12y equals negative 24. Let me just to give more room, I might just erase this. And you can rewind if you need to look at that again. So 4x plus 12y is negative 24. And we want this in terms of y. So that means we want y by itself. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this 4x. It's a positive 4x, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So I will have 12y left over here equals negative 24, take 4x. Now I want y by itself, so I'm going to divide everything through by 12, which will cancel the 12s over here. So I'll be left with y equals. Now we can simplify this. We can leave it as one fraction, but what I would suggest is that we break it apart. So we're dealing with our negative 24 on 12, and we're dealing with our negative 4x on 12. So we know that this part can simplify to be negative 2, and this part can simplify to be negative 1/3 x. So our equation becomes y equals negative 2, take 1/3 x. And moving on to our red section here. So it says sausage rolls cost $1.30 each and party pies cost 75 cents each. Construct a formula for finding the cost C dollars of buying X sausage rolls and Y party pies. So looking at part A first, the first thing we need to do is we need to identify that our sausage rolls are $1.30 each. Okay, so we don't necessarily need that 0 there, so it's 1.3, and we're talking about sausage rolls in terms of X. And our party pies, we know, are 75 cents, so 0.75, and we're talking about those in terms of Y. So those are our two variables there. So then the formula would be cost equals 1.3x plus 0.75 y. And then part B asks us to find the cost of 12 sausage rolls and 24 party pies. So that essentially means that we're going to substitute 12 in place of x and 24 in place of y. So cost is going to be 1.3 times 12 plus 0.75 times 24, which when you do that, you end up with 33.6. So we would say the cost of 12 sausage rolls and 24 party pies is, using our dollar sign, $33.60. That's it.